starport to be coming out for some nice medevacs. Let's see it. Oh, yep, there is a starport. Impeccable timing as he's putting down the reactor at the factory. So as soon as the starport is done, the reactor will be done. They both take 50 seconds to produce, which seems like an eternity when you're building a reactor, but not too bad when you're making a starport for some reason. The timing, it just seems a little warped. But he is going to be able to lift off the starport and the factory and then just immediately put the starport down and be able to put out 2 medevacs so quickly, which is just something that he hasn't done these last 2 games, but are really going to help with this big Terran Bio Ball. He really needs this healing to help be able to put out, like, to be able to survive, essentially, against this large army by Huk, who's already at 112 food. It looks like he is getting ready to put down an expansion. We can see his probe up at his natural, making a pylon, and then putting down an expansion. Expansion? Yes, there we go. There's the expansion. So not only is Huk keeping Murder contained in space, he's able to put up an expansion, which is exactly what you want to do with this tiny, like, just one ramp going in and out of the base. If you can sit below there and just be quick with your force fields, you can keep him contained for about the entire game.
Definitely, and as you can see here, Murder is going to use this factor to go ahead and scout. One thing I do see a problem with, I mean, although the Observer did already scout this starport, I think the factory is kind of giving away of Murder's strategy. I mean, because Huk seems to be, like, assuming that Murder is going the same exact bio ball because he has for 2 games already. I mean, why not think that? And it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to do a drop with 2 medevacs filled with Marines, and Huk is on to this, and he's not going to fall for it. He does have 8 Stalkers moving up to the mineral lines, and he does move some of his other forces out to his main, and it seems like the factory is just kind of chilling over. He's no longer chilling over Huk's forces here, and his main army is just kind of chilling in the base. And we do have these 2 medevacs coming around the side, just out of vision of this tower, which is controlled by a probe, but they're going to find some unfriendly one medevac goes ahead and goes down. If Murder's not lucky, he's going to go ahead and lose the second medevac. Oh, and there goes the second medevac. So both those medevacs go down, losing all the Marines inside. And it seems like Murder did try to do a push out here, but now the ramp is walled off by some force fields. And yeah, just really unlucky for Murder there. I mean, tried to take an offensive push here. He does finally do a scan. Seems a little too late as all these forces are now back outside the ramp. I mean, they are re-splitting. They know they're safe with that force field there. So I mean, really, Huk seems to have this game pretty wrapped up.
Oh, definitely. We saw Murder try and push out there at the last second after both of his medevacs had gone down. I feel like that was pretty sloppy on Murder's part. Well, obviously losing the medevacs with the 16 Marines was a pretty big deal. But he had Huk split his army into 3 different chunks, and Huk looked like he was pretty much primarily focused on bringing down those medevacs. If he had stimmed and run down... Oh, actually, I'm going to come back to that. But right now we do have a big fight. Huk trying to gets off a nice little surround. You can see this big, huge chunk of Murder's units just running around at the back, not able to do anything, just running around trying to get a spot to fire, while Huk's army just tears them apart. So big losses for Murder. He's really far behind right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, those force fields just played such a pivotal role. I mean, basically a tight choke became even tighter, pushing those units further and further back and just making them basically useless. And here goes Huk pushing up the ramp, and it seems like he's kind of sitting on the ramp. He's not really attacking anything up, which is some more and more units. And he seems like he's finally closing up as Murder has to pull his forces back, and now he has his whole entire army inside the base of Murder, and it's just such a stronger force that he's able to push back. And these SCVs do come out, but some brilliant force fields come down. They're actually majority of them are just going to be stuck back there in the base, kind of like not really know what's going on. And it looks like Huk is going to be able to take this as we come off of the stand, and they're going to re-spin and basically lose almost all of their health. And I don't think there's any way for Murder to really lose.
No, we do see the good game, and so this best of 3 is over. Huk wins it 2-1. I wanted to go back to this little thing that I had mentioned before with Murder not really taking advantage of Huk having to be in 3 different places at once. Huk left a very small force right outside of Murder's base, but since he had moved his factory away from that scouting position, he had no idea that there was about 5 Immortals and a few a few Zealots and a Sentry or 2 sitting outside of his base. So if while the whole harass was going and Huk was focused primarily on the 2 medevacs coming in, he could have really quickly stimmed out of his base and broken the line with those immortals, which would have not completely turned the tides in his favor, since Huk had an expansion, but would have let him be able to get outside of his base so that he wasn't stuck up above his choke and would have been able to put up his own expansion. So that could have been an entirely different game if he had just had a little bit better scout timing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just the idea, like just the point of getting out of that choke point that Huk had him in would have been really, really pitiful for Murder. I mean, really, you see that giant ramp at the end of the next choke point area, so he would have just been able to spread out his forces so much more, and the Sentries would have had so much more energy using force fields and whatnot. But it is the end of Game 3. I'm not going to keep you guys here any longer. I'm hoping to do some more co-cast with Ryan, so we'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching.
All right, thanks for having me. I hope to be back. See ya.